Hiya guys, and welcome back for another episode of Minecraft on the Forgecraft server. Well, Forgecraft 2 server in particular. Today, I've got a couple of things to talk about on my awesome little garbage heap that I've got going here. I went and read someone's Tome of Knowledge specifically because I needed to find a way to better use my experience. Because while this is effective, it's not quite fast enough. Things are quite expensive once you start stacking up your enchantments, and I haven't got a Botania enchanter nor an osmotic enchanter at this point, so I have to do things a bit of a tricky way. And the way that I did that, as you can see, I have a typesetting table and a printing press and a bunch of Forgecraft stuff. So what I actually did is I went over to Mr. Hazard's place because he seems to be, at least, on a cursory glance, the one that's most advanced with Forgecraft at the moment. And I used his, oh my gosh, the ritual thingy, for those that know Forgecraft, for those that don't, I'm sorry, to make myself a Thormic Restorer, because this is a fantastic trick if you've got Bibliocraft and Thormic Tinkerer installed in the same pack. Because an enchanting plate, when it does its job, I'll let it make one book. The way that a plate works is you get 3 charges from a single plate, or 3 books, and then you lose the plate and you have to re-enchant it. That's the normal way of doing it, and it costs like 50 or 40 experience per enchanted plate, which is a lot of experience, because remember that levels are exponential in Minecraft. For example, there I just put in 19 levels and got 4. So instead of spending that experience, that 50 experience, remaking a plate every time, you let it print off a couple of books and then you throw it in a Thormic Restorer. Now it's brand new again. So what I've been doing with that is I've been making soulbind books, and now I don't really need that anymore. This is how ridiculous I'm going to be. Bye bye. I've soulbound everything. What soulbind does is that it means if I ever die, it won't be dropped into the grave or on the ground or anything like that. It'll just stay on my character. So I'll spawn with this stuff. And I also made a resonant satchel from Thermal Expansion, which is made from a reinforced satchel, a hardened satchel, and a satchel. And then enchanted that and got holding 4, because the way this works is the satchel itself does not increase in size. All that it does is allow for a greater level of holding to be put on it. So a satchel can't be enchanted with holding, or it can only have holding 1. The next one, the hardened, can only have up to holding 2. The next one, which is the reinforced, can have holding 3, and resonant can have holding 4. And this is also soulbound. So if I die, I'm not going to lose all my tools and things. At most, I'm going to lose whatever's sitting around in here. So I did all that, and that was to, I don't know, just finally get things out of my inventory. And while I was at it, I soulbound things, but we're going to need a lot of bricks today. A lot of bricks. And the reason we're going to need a lot of bricks is because we're finally starting on one of the wings. Now you'll see, between the episodes, I've filled in the foundation. So the foundation now is just plain stone. But I've filled it in so you can better tell, once again, how big this building is. And over on my left screen, currently, I have Google Maps on Earth View mode, looking at the cruciform building. and looking at it from the outside, particularly at this wing, so I can get a good idea of what we're doing today. Now, what I also found out by looking at that Google view is this is brick. This whole thing is brick. I'm going to still leave those window spots in there because it just lets me know that further up I'm going to need to install some windows. But these things, these little sub-buildings, are brick on the outside. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? The floor plan, as I said, that the only floor plan that seems to be of the actual building's shell, and not just one of those weird modern hallway floor plans. It's pretty low resolution and pretty bad. It doesn't show a lot. So, this thing is 5 stories tall, not 6. There is a 6th level, but it's kind of like the attic level. But this goes up 5 stories, and the thing we have to work out today is how big is a story. Because that is going to dictate how we do this. And also these things, this little bit that protrudes from here is only 1 story tall. The rest of it goes way up in the sky. So, I think we can use you to figure out what a story is. So if this is the inside of the building, right? And that's a window right here. Well, a window is probably going to be like 2 high if we're thinking about old buildings. So we've got 4. And then we probably want a bit of inside roof. So imagine something like that. Just position my camera so you can't see the top of the bricks. And then we'd probably have the floor here. So that's 1 floor. So 1 floor is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. Alright. So, it doesn't seem to agree with me, or it does, but I need to do that. I'm, again, looking over to my left at Google Maps. So if we did that, and then that's 2 floors. This thing is going to be enormous. Here's our 3rd, and that is the limit for this particular part of the building. These little side box wing things, these sub-buildings, are 3 stories tall, and the rest of the building around it is 5. So we have 1 more normal level, comes out like this, and then has like a boxy bit coming out here. So if we just run these bricks up like this, and into here. Okay, so that is the top of one of these. The rest of the building comes up 1 more level to the 5th level, and then something changes. So despite the floor plan actually having no windows here, that's only because that's level 1. Looking at Google View here on my left, there are no windows on the 1st floor of this line but there is above it. So we go straight up to here. And that's when we first accept any existence of windows. In this little nook. And I need to sleep again. I'll return. Okay, so this actually has 3 windows along this here line, or rather 2, and then this thing. So I need to find even spacing for 2 windows along that. Get rid of that creeper so he doesn't cause any issues. I mean, that's not going to cut it because then that gap in the middle is too wide. Similar to this, now that I realise, these should probably be 2 wide windows. You can go away. Thank you. So actually, if we do that, but then that won't work because we need 3 windows there and not 2. So, is there a middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, there is a middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You. And then like here and here. Yeah. That looks about right. Actually, you know what? I just realized it is 2 windows. I said it was 2 windows and then I promptly forgot that it wasn't. So you are the middle, but I'm only using you so that I can do at. Okay, so there and there. Now we put the bricks back. Could have done that up there, I know, but it was easier for me to visualize if it was on the ground. And so that'll be just filled with brick. It'll just be a flat brick surface. And that needs to come up like this. And these need to be the exact same height. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Plus the line above, and then the floor, and I know I'm putting bricks on the inside, but it's just easier than switching out for something else. And then we do it all over again. So then we need the lower lip, the window, floor. Going to do that. And now we're up to the point of this thing. It'll start to make a lot more sense now. And then we need the 3rd level. Which would continue across like this. Right? You can see where this would continue across to. And am I standing straight on top of it? I am. Okay, that's good. So then we just need to do that. And remove these. Okay. I removed the wrong ones, didn't I? Didn't I? I've done something very wrong here. Right, this hasn't been pushed. What? What? Oh, that's the inside line. I'm a dork. Okay. So I'm actually just going to put these down here so that I can better mark it. Right, wood is inside. I made up that rule for myself. Should be able to stick to it. So then you would go across like this. Ta-da! Perfect. And then there's probably a door up here somewhere, but I can't exactly switch the camera on Google Maps yet. So, from here, we want to go up. I'm not going to go all the way across. I'm just going to do this to give myself the proper understanding of what's going on here. So that there is the wall. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stories, and the 5th story is a bit tricky because it comes in like this. So on the inside you'd have the lip above the window. And then it has one of these, like that does. And then it actually comes in like 2 blocks. What I'm actually placing down here, this stuff, this is coloured grey. Same with the inside of this. So that's probably some sort of concrete. And then our 5th floor comes up from there, so you have your, I'm going to say it's like there, so that's that. Nope, break that. And this line marks the end of the wall before it attaches to the roof, which seems to be a slanted grey thing, so it's kind of like this. Okay. Now it looks pretty plain and boring at the moment, but obviously that's going to change over the course of building this thing. All that we're interested in doing right now is getting things accurate, so that's why things look a little bit boring. And speaking of accuracy, these windows look far closer together when it comes down to it. What am I doing here? What am I doing with my life? Goes like that. Okay, so those were 1 windows when I created the floor plan, but now I've made the executive decision to make them 2 wide. Because there's only 2 windows on the side of the sub-building according to Google Maps, and I want that to actually fit properly. And the thing is, like, even if I am putting brick on the inside like this, it doesn't matter because I have my resonant exchanger, which I made as well. Somewhere in here probably. Yep, there it is. So when it comes to actually putting up the build, I can just use that to swap out all those wrong bits. Remember, I'm just kind of putting them there as a guide. So we're going to have lots and lots and lots of bricks used up in this build. Huge swaths of them. So it's looking like a bit of a bombed out shell at the moment. Okay. Accurate. So, on this side of this thing, we have that window. And of course I'm going to go around the bottom and replace all the bits of stone here for brick. But for now, we have our friend the window. On the side. 3. Cool. So that's what that looks like. These windows, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull it off yet, all have white frames in them. So I'm going to have to try and find a glass either through chisel or through one of the other mods that is clear in the middle but has a white border, and hopefully also find a way to oh yeah, I put travel on my sword, by the way, so now I can teleport around if I need to. It's a lot of mobs. Cool. So this is also accurate, sort of. This window, this middle one, should actually be the same size as as these two, right? But in order, because Minecraft doesn't do uneven very well, I mean, obviously the answer to that is to make the entire wing shorter by 1 block. Or make this section of the wing shorter by 1 block, but then that would echo throughout the entire building, and then I'd have to change a lot of stuff. So the middle window here in our build is just going to be a bit longer than expected. Or a bit wider, sorry. And this is as tall as this bit, and it has windows starting from the bottom, unlike that bit. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so we've got the outside of this part of the wing at 4 stories. Now, similar to this bit, it comes in by 1. So, and then do this. And then have the trim like this. But the difference here is there is one massive window here, because right here is where the building peaks on the roof, right? It has a flat triangle edge on this side, which goes taller than this part. So if we do come up, we want to do this, and then this. Right, so now we are indicating that wall. if we come up by 1, 2, 3, and then 1 again, that is then taller again by what looks about 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So the peak of this thing is like 4 blocks tall from there. And this pillar, by the way, in the middle here is right smack dab in the center of the big window. So this comes up by 3, and then 1 again, comes across. And that then needs to come down. So we need to find a graceful way to make a line from there to there. Carpenter's blocks will help with that, but I'm not sure when or where. So we have 2 small windows exactly the same size here. And here. And then this one is huge. It is kind of an arch. So I'm filling in this. It'll all make sense in a second. And then I'm going to cut out that stuff. And then we have an arch window. So it does kind of work out in the end. And I guess we can kind of, just for now, wing this. Yeah, that's a good winging. And then because of the angle that I have Google Maps on, I can't quite see this bit. So that does, however, bring us to the end of our episode. So when you come back for the next episode, I'm actually going to have the shell of this wing completely done, and then I'll explain the changes that I've made. It's all going to go very similar fashion. I'm basically going to be looking at a map on my left of the actual building itself and matching that to the floor plan that I've created. So it's going to be all the same for hours, or however long it takes me to do the wing, because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this wing as our test subject. I'm going to build this wing up, and I'm actually going to finish it before I even do any of this stuff, right? Purpose being that I have an idea of exactly how everything's going to go, so that doing all the rest of it has all the mistakes already been made, and all the solutions already come up with. Okay, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.